The only time when I have felt any sense of, jealousy or something, whatever it is, from somebody, is from male actors.
Welcome to Film Companion. This is a frame filled with such talented, gorgeous women that it just fills my heart with happiness.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, congratulations on Wonder Woman.
Thank you.
What I liked about the film was the warmth and the empathy that just is there in every frame. Like literally, there's not one scene that doesn't have this compassion in it. And I was just curious about how you create that. Because Anjali, obviously you have it in your writing, you have compassion for these women, but how do you create it also as characters, as actors? What is the art of creating warmth?
I think a lot of it
It's a really good question.
I think that warmth is here in this frame also.
I can see it.
And
yes.
because it is inside her, I think it's flowing everywhere, isn't it?
Sachi, absolutely.
I think a lot of it is actually created off screen because they are all wonderful people who have a capacity to extend themselves to others, and that when it happens off screen, that chemistry is born there. We just capture a little bit of it on screen.
But Anjali, it can't be because they're also very fine actors.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So you make it sound too simple.
No, but
Definitely isn't simple.
the energy that is there on a set, there's no doubt that it translates on camera. There's no doubt, in my opinion. When we have a good time on set, it shows on camera, and I've seen it through my films. When we have a bad time, the film doesn't look that good, and I feel very strongly about it. So the way we all were, we were very much like family, and we really got along so well, and it was literally like you see. So the relationships that we have with each other is actually in real life quite like that. Like, we would travel together in the morning, we would go back together. So, and we were all cooped up in one room,
That was the best
thanks
part
to
of it.
Anjali. Like, I'm telling you, there was like 7 or 8 of us in one room. And we had
Where?
like for changing, resting, everything.
Oh,
It was
So
one
we
room.
were on location.
Which I loved, because what a difference from being isolated in your own vanity vans and stuff. We were suddenly put in this space, and it created such a sort of bond for us, and it shows on screen. I really think that's true.
We
It's
literally
real.
stayed together, and I was surprised because I think these people knew each other before, but I was
You're the newbie.
but still I felt the same thing, and that's I think what Anjali can do with you.
So welcome to the pleasures of indie filmmaking, where you have
Where you have no money and
Well,
everybody has
no,
to
where
live
you
on
have,
one.
you have to, you have to make a film in the middle of when COVID and everything is happening, and so you have to create that bubble, and we chose to do it this way. And of course, when they meet, they have to be open to be able to take that in. See, it's not though Nitya, Parvati, though they know of each other, it's not like they've interacted at this level. This is possibly the first time,
This is the first
right?
time, yeah. All of
But that openness to come in and just jump into it, that comes from them. The rest of it, we can provide the environment. We can provide the onus to do it. But beyond that, they have to travel. And they have. And that kind of bonding, really, it does not, meet a certain mandate or anything. It is something explosive that just happens. And then you have to adjust the film towards that. That's actually what
and I've
happens.
said this before as well. After working in an Anjali Menon film, it's very difficult to go to another set because your standards are pretty, set about being open. That is like not many other things, but I'm saying the fact that it's a trust fall for an actor to go in, and I believe that when she brings anybody into set, they will have the same thread of empathy in them somewhere down the lane. Maybe not in the same level as all of us, but I don't think she will partner or collaborate with anybody who will be there to disrupt that energy. Or if at all we end up having somebody like that, they will stay pretty far away from the actors. Again, a director who loves her actors so much.
So in other
We
words,
are-
you're saying we are special?
Oh, we are
That she has
so
come-
special. That was again a roundabout way to say that we are so amazing. Stars.
See, basically, they all like being the center of the universe.
And they are the
what it
center
is.
of your universe.
Yes, that's it. As long as they're at the center of the universe, they're all very, very happy.
Tell me though about opposing approaches, right? Because Nitya, you say that you're a spontaneous actor, you never prep. Anjali, you call Parvati the Nazi prepper because she preps so much, right? Yes. So when you have actors with such differing approaches, how do you kind of collate that? How do you bring that into a harmonious whole?
Basically, I work with each of them individually. So it's never that, that they're briefed in a group. That happens very rarely, because when we're talking about the character for the first time or taking them through the arc, it's always an individual approach. In fact, they tease me all the time that even when it's one scene, I'll be whispering things in different people's ears. So they can never hear me all together.
When she talks, it sounds like this. So whisper anyway. But then she'll come and whisper only in the ear, so the others won't know.
So often the other person does not know what she's going to do.
That's true.
So, it helps to have that separation, because yes, they're very, very different as actors.
Yeah.
So that does take a certain, a certain kind of handling.
Did it throw the two of you at all?
I remember the scene that Parvati was doing, where towards the end of the film, she has this really emotional scene and this outburst. So she's, be silent and and she was totally in her zone. So I remember watching this, because I'm very different, because I can be completely normal and then just go into the scene and then finish it and then come right out. So, but as actors also, we're very used to seeing other actors in different method. We're very used to it, and we are collaborative, so we understand it, and we kind of make sure that we give them the space. So, I stayed silent and whatever she wanted, that was, so we are a very collaborative bunch, as actors. We know how to be
You're
flexible.
mindful of each other.
Very
Yes,
mindful.
hold space
Very
for
mindful.
another, yeah.
To the extent of holding space for each other. When they see it, initially maybe she might have to say that, hey, calm down. But from that point on, they know that's how she works. So you can see them sort of accommodating to that, which is actually what it takes in an ensemble cast.
Yeah.
And they're all so used to, headlining their own films. But when it comes to working like this, that switch happens very quickly, which is what I adore about them. Nobody has an insecurity about, what about me, and, is that how it's going to compare? Or never. I was telling somebody, I don't think I've sensed anything of comparison at all on the set. That is a very
just
lovely
nasty
thing.
they say about women.
That is so true.
That's all it is.
We all
Yeah.
are so
We've been looking for
genuinely
this
happy
mythical
to-
figure called jealousy. We just don't get it. We don't
Actually,
have
I was saying this before. The only time when I have felt any sense of, jealousy or something, whatever it is, from somebody, is from male actors. I have never in my life felt that from a female actor. We've always been extremely loving, extremely appreciative. Oh, I really like you in that film. That's how even I did Tiruchitrambalam. I was with two other girls, Rashi and, Priya. Extremely nice, and they were more googly-eyed to be around me than around anybody else. They were like, I love you so much. That's how women have always been, at least around me. The sense of challenge I've always felt only from the male actors.
I agree.
I second that too.
You second
I
it?
second it, absolutely. So yeah. No, the space, the fact that we've gone through many things, similar things, we have navigated it in our own ways. And then I have to say this, for me, the first notion of coming together was the collective. And after that, it was always about sharing notes. Oh, you do it like that, or you do it like this. There was never a tone of, oh, maybe I should also try that, only then I'll get ahead as much as her. There was never a conversation or even an attitude like that thrown at me. So Wonder Women was a great testament of that exactly. Again, in one room, it was like hostel vibes. Nadia ma'am would step out of the room most of the time because she's like, there is no calm.
She's like, I can't do this.
Handle this girl's
She would just
hostel
come and
energy.
change and just run out. No,
They literally piled on top of each other and then waiting who's getting ready last. And she's like this, I don't know, she's got this superhuman power of getting ready in 2 seconds. All of us have to be
I'm done, I'm good.
She's done. She puts her dress and she's done. And I'm like,
You're putting our bellies
putting our
on top of
bellies
that.
and struggling through it. Some existential crisis is going on. And she's like sleeping until
Putting on the
last
wrong bellies.
Putting on the wrong belly.
This is not mine. This is not my size. That's so funny.
Yes.
If you follow Nitya into the room,
Signature bellies, obviously.
Everyone's names on the bellies.
Saya, and all that.
no, if you follow Nitya into the room, just to even say something. I remember this happening. I just walked in and said, hey, I wanted to, and I saw the belly fly. Like, you know, this is how they are. Inside that, it's a completely different energy. And I'd have to literally drag them out and say, hey, we were here to make a film, so maybe we do a little bit of that as well. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
she
I'm
had to keep doing
constantly
that.
doing that.
Guys,
You were the
guys, come,
monitor.
come, let's
She
go.
was the monitor. Yeah, yeah.
By the way, we were talking about how whispering, it has a lot of power, let me tell you, because yeah, that whispering has a lot
It
of
does,
power.
it does,
And
yeah.
not only, like, I'm not saying that, you know, we were scared of her, not like that, but you know, every actor has to be triggered at the right place at the right time. And she does that. She doesn't tell you everything at one go, but I remember I had to do one scene, she told me, what do you think this child is for Jaya? ये बच्चा क्या है जया के लिए? And that question, when I started thinking about it, I didn't know what I was, and the scene started, I didn't know I was going to perform it the way I did. So she does that with you. She surprises you at that moment, and that whispering is magical, let me tell you.
And wicked. Don't go by that angelic face.
I think that nature, like most of the crew and the technicians always get to see. We've not seen that.
Right.
Like we've always seen the very gently, like holding the hand. Even when she's like wanting us to come for the shot, like, okay, this is getting really late. We've got to, you know, chop, chop, chop. Even then her hold is pretty gentle. So like, I think we get away with a lot. Not,
I think Nitya might disagree.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, and I was like, okay, relevant, let's not go there.
No, please
She's
go
not
there.
gentle. She keeps nudging me all the time. She's like, every time I'm like, something, look back, and she'll be like, she's like, I'm like, why are you poking me like this?
She'll be the last one to
She's like, come.
She'll be the last
Something,
one
I
to
don't know, it's
move.
just
So
me.
literally you have to
God.
poke her out of her comfort
Love
zone.
it. That is so funny. Amrita, speaking about your process, you used a word which I apologize if I'm mispronouncing this, Brahmakshan.
Oh, yes. Oh,
How do you say it?
Brahmakshan.
Brahmakshan, where you fuse with the character. What does this mean?
Oh, thank you for reminding me of that, because I really like this term. Brahmakshan is that moment which you have not planned, which is that divine moment every actor yearns for. But sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't, because you can't plan for it.
Yeah.
It's like getting pregnant, you know. See, I mean, you're planning everything, because we are talking about this film, so I'm using this analogy. Like, you do everything, but it's not, it might or it might not get, like, conceive hona ye jo baat
Yeah.
hai. So likewise, you're preparing for your character. आप बहुत सोच के आ रहे हो, आपका director आपको कुछ बता रहा है, सब कुछ है. But the moment that action happens, you know, goosebumps मुझे अभी भी आते हैं कि sometimes it happens and sometimes you're like, I couldn't reach there. नहीं हुआ. So ये होता रहता है. कुछ क्षण हमें मिलते हैं, like we are always like jumping and trying to reach there. So that term I have, like I've coined that term called
That's
Brahma.
so beautiful.
Brahma is
It's a
like
beautiful
something
word, yeah.
supreme, no?
Brahmakshan.
Brahmakshan, yeah.
reminds me of that 4 a.m. purity of the day.
Something,
Brahma
Because
Muhurt.
it's called
Brahma
Brahma.
Muhurt.
Yeah. Brahma.
Yeah.
What day?
Because it's called Brahma Muhurtam.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why
That's why I'm relating to
No,
that
but yeah,
every
that
time.
kind of purity is there, and that is what I was about. I was telling you about this scene, particular scene we are talking about. And my husband says for the first time that ये बच्चा आएगा नहीं आएगा, मैं तुम्हारे साथ हूँ, and you are more important for me, you know. And then I didn't know I was going to react that way, and retakes हो रहा है, मैं उसको बता रही हूँ कि मुझे नहीं पता मेरा क्या हो रहा है. Like when an actor gets baffled in a good sense, I would say, surprised, let's say. Some directors do that with you कि हमें लगता है कि अभी कुछ साल हमने काम किया है, and then we know the ways, and suddenly you are lost in a good way. I love to get lost, and then get lost in on these ways, and that is what she did. I'm lucky to have her, that it could happen.
But it's interesting to me, Anjali, that the DOP and the editor, two very, very key pillars in your vision, are male. So in this sea of estrogen, did they bring in a different perspective at all?
No, frankly, if you ask me, Anupama, I don't see these as
You don't see gender
genderized
at all.
roles.
Right.
You know, I don't really see that somebody is male and therefore they react like this, and somebody is female and therefore they react like this. I really don't think so. I think it is about sensitivity. You know, and I don't think gender has anything to do with it. So I'm fortunate that my collaborators, whatever their gender, they're sensitive people. And they're responding to material, they're responding to feelings. And that is all we're here to do, isn't it? When I'm doing my work, I'm not thinking about what my gender is, and neither are they. So they're responding to who is in frame. They're responding to what this is making them feel. Our currency is that feeling, and that is what we're dealing in. So that I don't think there is any gender there. I don't think so.
Which is lovely. This film is of course going on Sony Live, which is a platform with great content, and you all are going to be in wonderful company. But here's the thing I really think about, right? Through this last year, the kind of narratives that have been very successful in theatres have been very male-driven. Conventional wisdom right now, like all the trade pundits, etc., are all talking about the fact that now people will come in for spectacle, people will come in for sort of the larger-than-life narratives. And I just wonder, we've seen so many female-led films go on streaming, starting with Gehraiyan with a star as big as Deepika. And that's probably the best decision for that film. But still, I just wonder, are we going into a place where streaming becomes a sort of ghetto for anything to do with women? Because suddenly theatres are just for these big spectacle male films.
We could make big spectacle films with women.
I know, but they don't fund those, right? Or not enough.
Well, I think, we just have to keep pushing the envelope and
Yeah.
making it get there. So
You think we'll get there?
I think so.
You don't have sort of dark nights of the soul like I do. I'm just like, what's going on?
I think with every project, we take certain risks, and we're constantly told, no, this will not work. And then eventually that one thing which everybody thought will not work becomes the biggest plus of the film.
Yeah.
That happens so often. So I'm the eternal optimist maybe, but I do think that we can make films which are worthy of a theatre audience with, women, men, everybody headlining it. It's not to do with gender.
Are you also confident, all of you?
Yes, we can shoulder that, isn't it?
I really think, for theatres, what we need, what clearly seems to be working, is something that's working for a very large number of the audience. So it may not always be a spectacle, like Tiruchitrambalam, which was not a spectacle but
Correct.
worked.
Yeah.
But it's because it worked for a large number of people. But today, I can write something and I can make something and I can put it out there because we have a platform. And I think that's what this secondary platform, other than the theatres, have done for us. But yes, I really think for theatres, you need to make something that's not niche, that works slightly more wider. Even if it's not your male-driven spectacle films, it still needs to be a little more, this is niche.
Yeah, no, I get that. But that's encouraging to hear,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And maybe your next film can be a superhero film with one of them.
Yes.
You have just announced that. Thank you.
All been
My fantasies, putting it out into the world.
Manifesting it.
Just manifesting it, that's right. Anjali, this film also you rely as a director quite heavily on montages. There's of course the evolution of their relationships, there's the evolution of their relationships with their partners, but there's also that moment where we see the place, where we see what that city is like, what the environment is like. What is the art of creating an effective montage?
Well, I don't know if I'm an authority on that, but what I would try to do is to get impressions, gentle impressions which are reflective of the larger picture, and combining those impressions to create that picture. Very often we are not in a, operating at a scale where you can, show the entire thing, but implying. I've always preferred to imply rather than to show it all. So that kind of sort of impressionistic treatment, I think, works for a montage. Because in your mind, you're holding the previous picture and then you're seeing the next one. And, that kind of juxtaposition helps create a certain canvas. So in your mind, the impression you have may be bigger than what you're actually seeing on screen. It's got a synergy, all of those visuals together. So that's what we try. I hope it works.
As I was watching this film, I was really wondering why we are so reluctant to address this part of being a mother in our cinema. You know, there are very few films like Wonder Woman. There are very few. I don't even know if there are any. There's no film that really talks about how messy it is. It's just the fact that you want to pee all the time, or you're hungry all the time, or that you're overwhelmed.
Yes.
That mothering and becoming a mother is not just this glorious, you know, rara sort of journey to that 9th month where you deliver. It's damn scary. Why do you think our films, which have always put mothers on a pedestal and deified mothers from Mother India onward, are actually so afraid to acknowledge how messy it is to really be a mother?
See, I would think that people don't actually want to see it. It's as simple as that. When this is happening to a woman in your house, people still look away.
Yeah.
You know, so would you really want to pay money and go watch it on a screen? Would you really want to do that? Even with Wonder Woman, there is a risk involved. I cannot, you know, really go into that yet. For me, this is just an opening where I'm showing it in a very light way. Because if I really go into showing how it is, you know, everybody's going to want to tune out of that.
Down.
You know, I'm being very honest here. So I would rather start in a light way and then get the confidence to be able to explore it with more depth. Because people really, I don't think people are interested, first of all. I mean, it's
No, but
not
I
their
think,
problem.
I don't know, but I think many women from my generation, they want to talk about it now.
Yeah.
Whether it is, as you said, there is a fear behind all this. Like, you know, when you get pregnant or this childbirth, as you were saying, it's not only that मैं माँ बनने वाली हूँ. Of course, it's a beautiful thing. Of course, it is. But there is all these things as well. And also after pregnancy, what all, like, you know, postpartum,
So much.
whatever. Like, so I have seen my friends going through it. I've seen my friends, they are saying, let me write a book maybe, so that, you know, all of us can talk about it. They want to talk. And I think this film, I think, is very important because it will initiate this dialogue, and then maybe, you know, but they want to talk. I can hear that around me. That
We
they
just
want to
open
talk.
the door for those conversations to begin.
Actually, I
need
just
so
did a
much.
film about postpartum depression.
Oh, you did?
I did. It's a Malayalam film called Aram Thirukalpana, and it's not yet released, probably soon. But it is about postpartum depression, and it's a thriller. Again, you have to package it like that, you know.
Yeah.
But it is about how she, you know, it does talk about what she goes through and how people see it. When she goes through it, she's blamed for it and stuff like that. So it's a very interesting.
Yeah, and because as a preparation for this role, Anjali made me meet her friend called Reba, who is also working on natural birthing and all those things. And because I wanted to know, because I have not given birth to a child, I wanted to know what are the stages, like, you know, how to prepare for all this. And then I really faced many questions. These women are, because she told me, of course, I heard about that also. So I really hope that this film initiates those questions and a dialogue on this, like, you know, like, it is okay to feel that.
It is okay to feel that. Yeah, that's a very important message to hear.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, Anjali's Bangalore days, is the gateway drug into Malayalam cinema, right? For the rest of us. So this might be the gateway drug into women, pregnancy, motherhood, all the rest.
I hope a lot more content gets produced in that
Yeah,
area
yeah.
because there is, you know, there are takers for it, and we just need to find, you know, how the audience will take that kind of thing and be able to share that, normalize that we are having these conversations.
Yeah. Finally, I want to ask all of you, what do you most want your audience to take away from this film? Nitya, let's start with you.
I just want them to, you know, I like films that are light and that, you know, we don't have to go so intense with a film. Like, I miss happy, fun, light films that you can just watch on a Sunday afternoon, you know. This is that kind of a film. I want to do more films like that. So I want the audiences who are looking for those films to find something to watch. It doesn't always have to be horror or thriller or if it's female oriented, who's female oriented, it's like some revenge saga or something like that. You know, it can be a really chilled out, fun film to watch, light. So I think that would be the biggest takeaway from this film, lightness.
Yeah. So, taking from what Anjali was saying earlier, I hope there are more films coming consistently talking about various aspects of different genders and their experiences when it comes to partnership, when it comes to parenthood or the lack of it, that it becomes a norm to delve into these things. But it needs to be consistent and not this, far away. Like, there is one movie once that comes and suddenly has a connect, and then 5 years it takes for it to have a funding or kind of a thing. So I'm hoping that Wonder Woman, with the way Anjali's made it, and in her signature style where it's just extremely open and welcoming, to have this just not glimpse really, just sit and indulge and just see their lives. I'm hoping that there will be more and more people coming up with stories like that. That's hoping that audiences are also prepped for it. Yeah.
Yeah, for me it is what you said, love and warmth. I love that scene where all the husbands are, touching the belly. Like, it is a very new term now. Like, they say we are pregnant, and I like that, But I see very rarely that really happening. But I've seen my friends saying that, oh, he doesn't do anything and I have to do everything. So of course, that warmth and that, so a childbirth can be, beginning of that. But not only warmth between the partners, also warmth between these women, all these women together, that's my takeaway also, Anupama. Not only like it's, as an audience, I think as Nitya was saying that it has translated into the film, and then that will, spread.
Into the world.
Into the world, yeah.
Anjali, last word to you.
But I have always thought there's great wealth in relationships. And I think we all are in need of friendships that hold us together, hold us up, prop our spirit and make us want to get out there and conquer the world. And I think this film for me is about that kind of friendship. Everything else is actually secondary. This is about growth. And when we hold each other together and we're able to grow together, and that I think is the dream, is the hope.
Well, it's dedicated to the sisterhood. Yes. Well, thank you for this. It's so lovely to see all of you. And I have to tell you that my other favorite part of the movie was right at the end credits, where you have all those names and then it says in and as Wonder Women. I love that. I love that. Thank you.
Thank you, Anupama.
Hi, we are Wonder Women.
Please subscribe to Film Companion.